this game is called Don't Eat the Cashier. I am the cashier. I'm perfection. You are what you eat. I am a cashier. I'm a cash register. What is your name? What is your quest? What is the airspeed velocity of a something swallow? I don't remember if he says, because the question that he asked back is something like an Eastern or a European, and he's like, I don't know. Ah. I don't remember what he says full line though. It's been a long time since I've watched Monty Python. Sometimes I really wonder, how did I end up here? Not that I dreamed of a career as a neurosurgeon or an astronaut, but for crying out loud, working at a gas station? Well, on the other hand, money is money. Yeah, for real. Beggars can't be choosers. I sent out resumes to every conceivable and inconceivable place, applying for every position where I could somehow use my degree in art. 0 responses. I had to swallow my pride and find at least something. I found this note stuck to the glass of the bus stop. Human organism wanted for work at a gas station. Organism duty include selling food for mouth, silence and obedience, household tasks, obeying those who are more ancient, friendly team offers, new and old faces of friends, long and different life, consumption of nourishment, juicy juices, and trips to human places. This doesn't sound sketchy at all. Food for mouth? Seriously? Guy's got a style of his own. Apparently the manager is just an eccentric dude. Or is this their new marketing tactic to grab attention? This would definitely grab my attention. Whatever. People often told me that I have my quirks too. And that's even if they haven't seen my fursuit. Oh! We're playing a furry! That's awesome! Well, whatever. As long as he's not a complete jerk who will hit on me or make me scrub the floors with a toothbrush. Excuse me? I'm a furry. I have a fursuit at least, which I think is the biggest. Like, if you own a fursuit and say you're not a furry, I'm not going to believe you. Hi, babe. I didn't scream. I couldn't move. My brain feverishly tried to find any category for this in its database. Hallucination? Psychosis? Too many energy drinks? A typical middle manager? The monster from my nightmares stirred. Its tentacles crept closer to the counter. My God. The creature made a sound. Not from a mouth. It had none. The sound emanated from deep within its bulk, hollow, profound, and bone-shaking. Greetings, organism! I'm Bob, the indescribable and terrifying consumer of worlds, but you, grain of sand, may call me Manager Bob. No. No. This isn't real. I'm dreaming. I need to wake up. You will sell food for mouths and obey me, for I am ancient. Memorize the rules of this establishment, for my patience is as limited as the salary I offer you. Damn. Rule number 1. You sell, no matter what, chicken food for mouth, gremlin fuel, noodles made from cursed souls, lottery tickets for extra limb raffles, discount rot, ritual foil. Everything must be sold. Points directly at me with that creepy, slimy tentacle. Every miserable... Is this Mr. Krabs in demon form? Every miserable unit of currency brings me closer to my triumphant exit from this pitiful hole. I pinched myself, but I didn't wake up. Rule number 2. Be polite... I can't continue that voice. I'm gonna die. Be polite to customers. Ignore bald spots in werewolf fur, and watch out for drafts when ectoplasmic energetic entities are in the store. What? But don't let them get too bold. Customers are just walking containers for currency, and they should only pay in monetary units. Payment in existential dread or hair of the dead is not accepted. Many of them come here just to chat because they are idle and purposeless organisms. Your task is to make them part with their currency anyway. It is also your duty to heal organisms if they are injured using special kits. If they die, they can't give away currency. Excuse me, dear sir. You seem to have mentioned werewolves and ectoplasm? My voice is as polite as possible. I managed to compress my primal, screaming panic into a tight ball and shove it deep down. Selfie pics. Werewolves? And that's not to mention that you yourself are a giant meatball with tentacles. Damn you. I shall answer your question, curious, polite organism. Werewolves and ectoplasmic entities are just a few examples of the many insignificant life forms that frequent this establishment. Whoops. What unites them is that they are all slaves to consumption, just like your kind. As for my nature, I am your immediate supervisor and the guarantor of your future financial prosperity. I'm at a gas station for monsters. I got a job with Cthulhu for minimum wage. This is all you need to know. That really is all I need to know. If you're any more knowledge will surely drive me insane. For the first time, something resembling approval flickered across Bob's many-eyed face. A rare and unexpected display of the grains of wisdom that have not yet left the human species. Thanks, I think. Embrace your ignorance. Let it become your shield and a direct path to the status of Human Employee of the Month. And what does the Human Employee of the Month get? A cash bonus of 25 cents. Yeah, that sounds about right. I understand that you, human, are already extremely excited about this, but that's not all. You will also have access to the elite Manager's Restroom for one full work cycle. During its use, there is only a 7% chance that you will be transported to a dimension of endless pain, suffering, and unimaginable torment. Truly generous. He suddenly places a jar in front of me on the counter. And the last rule, remember, organism, this tip container must be filled with money by the end of your wake cycle, if the bottom of the jar is visible. You will clean the sanitary rooms with this object in the dimension of absolute horrors and suffering for 2,510 years. I couldn't take my eyes off the fork, the potential tool of my eternal servitude. At this moment, my mind fully catapulted. Catapulated? I don't know. Yes, I was hired by a multi-eyed cosmic architect squid. Yes, my clients will be non-humans. Yes, I'm being threatened with a fork and eternal toilet cleaning. How could anyone clean with a fork? The same will happen if you think of escaping before the end of your work contract. My ocular sensorium perceives the subtlest of matters. It will detect you in any corner of this pitiful planetary sphere. Pablo, you would have a nightmare trying to read this. I'm having trouble reading this. Crap. I'm stuck here. I'm in a trap. Do you understand, organism? Yes, sir. Acceptable! Goodbye, organism. Good luck in your currency acquisition and button pressing. Could you show me how exactly do I press the buttons? I point at the sticky buttons on the vending machine. Bob's central eye looks at my finger, then at the machine, then back at my face. The creature sighs. A tentacle extends from his body with torturous slowness. With the drama of a pianist playing the last tragic note, the tip of the tentacle presses down. Click. Bob waits expectantly. Got it. Your capacity for learning is phenomenal. This concludes the briefing. Remain as polite an organism as you are. He didn't turn around as a human would. His tentacles simply shifted his entire mass in another direction with a soft gurgling sound, and he waddled across the linoleum. Finally, he left me alone. The silence of the gas station was broken only by the hum of refrigerators, containing juicy juices and the buzzing of the neon lamp above my head. I stood in the same spot as if rooted to the ground. My breath returned to me in sharp, uneven gasps. My hands were shaking. Yeah, he might. Game's not over yet. The tip jar, which I needed to fill to avoid ending up in a dimension of ancient horrors, still stood proudly on the counter. Okay, so what just happened? Option 1, I've gone insane. That's the most logical conclusion. Prolonged stress from job hunting, malnutrition, nerves, anxiety, a disrupted sleep schedule. My brain just malfunctioned. Yep, that's it. I'm gonna wake up on my couch in my dingy rented apartment. I pinched myself again. And nothing. I scanned the room once more. It smelled of gasoline and old coffee. It was still absurdly real. And that meant everything he said was all true. Werewolves, vampires, tips, the fork. A hysterical mix of laughter and a scream of terror welled up in my throat, but I held it back. I need to get through this. I needed to... Oh no. Don't tell me that's the first customer. Bells? What the hell? Oh, hello! Shit! Where the hell did this clown come from? It took great effort not... Damn, that's loud. It took great effort not to look away from those red eyes burning in the pitch black darkness. Is he amused? Is he wondering if I'm tasty? Bob didn't exactly give any guarantees that I wouldn't get devoured at work. Smash. Honk honk! Yeah, look, Mr. Clown, we're buddies, right? I got clown nose. Does his bell... Yeah, can I jingle your bells? My brain, still recovering from the encounter with Bob, was frantically trying to figure out how to break this ringing silence. You can't just appear with the sound of a creepy piano, sir. Good evening, sir. What would you like to purchase? Oh, he's hot! I'm okay with this. Purchase? I would like to purchase your attention. Called it. No, the manager said everything is for sale. You're lucky, esteemed sir. My attention is on sale today. Ha, a bargain. But is it wise to put your best merchandise on discount? Anyway, I adore good bargains, especially when they're absolutely unfair. In a truly fair world, my dear soul, you'd be worth more than $6 an hour. Can a mere piece of paper reflect your uniqueness? Can even 6 of them? Not even 20 could. And I wouldn't mind 20 extra... Oh, that's me. I wouldn't mind 20 extra pieces of measly paper. My God, another crazy person with a strange way of speaking. And it seems he's in the mood for a chat. So, what is a beautiful, charming soul like you doing in such a dreadful, dirty island of misfortune? Or rather, what is a place like this doing with such a charming soul as you? I like it. I called him a creepy I did. Oh, wait. Where are my manners? I suppose I must introduce myself. I have many names, most of which are not fit to be spoken in the company of a lovely, noble soul. The nicest I've heard is the Mad King. You look more like the Mad King's jester than the Mad King, but, okay. A title I plan to pass from me to myself for the coming centuries. However, my mortal mother named me Darren. I'm gonna say that's Darren because I have no idea how to pronounce Darren? Darren it is. Now, may I have your hand? Okay. Don't cut it off. Please don't cut it off. He suddenly bows his head and presses his lips to my knuckles. Meeting you is truly a pleasure. His lips are cold, yet a ghostly warmth spreads across my skin. So here I am, dealing with a real gentleman. How lovely. Or a king, as he calls himself. Of all the kings and emperors locked in their soft chambers, this one has probably found a way to escape. May I know your name? I don't immediately realize he's asking me a question, still in a daze from that gentlemanly kiss. My name is Stranger, but my friends call me Big D. Or they would if I had any. I like that. I'm not gonna say that because I don't know. He looks like a jester. You think he'd like jokes, but maybe he doesn't. You should. Okay. What a pity. The name clearly has room to grow. It lacks subjects. How did it happen that there's no one to praise you? Now he's gonna call me Big D. No! How did it happen that there's no one to praise you, Big D? No one acknowledges my big as my name and talents. That seems to be the problem. Good job. Yeah, now I'm just gonna be Big D the rest of the game with this guy. Have you even seen me? Oh, my dear, sweet, tragically nearsighted Big D. I see you more clearly than you see yourself. I see a canvas of untapped potential, splattered with the brown stains of circumstance. I see the little spark of life that makes you battle with yourself in the smudges on this counter. What you call a flaw, I call a beautiful, thrilling starting point. No, he hasn't ordered a damn thing yet. I need money in this jar, sir. Can't loiter here. I highly recommend directing your hatred outward rather than inward. It's very refreshing. I feel like my brain is turning to jelly. I feel like this would be a good way to get killed, but I don't really want to be rude. Actually, it's not all that bad. Maybe I've just been spoiled by all those mangas about sinister and tragic monsters. We're definitely monster fucker readers. Though the only tragic thing about this client so far is his tragic unwillingness to buy my discount rot. So, let's finally get to the purpose of my visit. Finally. It's completely unknown to me. Oh, for crying out loud. There's nothing interesting in the assortment of this pathetic shack, except for you. So I'm buying your time. Let's have dinner. I'm sure you must be hungry. Oh, no. Allow me to create a more pleasant atmosphere for us. Praise the goat mother! I'm shivering from a gust of icy wind. He just teleported half of my gas station to a radioactive dump. Or a radioactive dump to my gas station. And the jar is gone! My freaking jar! Looks like my rental apartment, but it seems to smell less now. My dear, I suspected your life hasn't been easy, but was it really that bad? I think that heart means he liked what I said. Don't worry, I won't abandon a liege in distress. Just say the word and I'll relocate you to one of those incredibly cozy dwellings. I'm sure the local cockroaches won't mind, and together you can fully enjoy the scent of atomic decay. However, I can't go long without familiar landscapes. Already ruined land makes me melancholic because all the fun has happened without me. Disgusting. Allow me. This is something seemingly less radioactive. Amazingly, I haven't thrown up yet. Feel like I've been flushed twice through an interdimensional toilet. I clear my throat. Seems like I'm sitting at a table. Much better, wouldn't you agree? Couldn't be better. It's beautiful here. And strange. Is this your home? Words of a true poet, Straccia. My two favorite categories, strange and beautiful. This place is much more than a home. It's my cage and my greatest canvas for creativity. Every ugly tree, every mad toad, yeah, he does look kind of pissed. Every eye-bearing mushroom, it's all a piece of me. A marvelous place, except when the rocks grow legs and start running. Including those that people make their homes out of. And now you're part of this place too. Isn't it wonderful? I'm slowly getting used to the landscape. The fireflies here are quite charming. But it'd be better without that frog with a human face. The frog notices me too. Lets out a sad croak and then looks at me with an expression of deep existential despair. You weren't a person at one point, were you? Point at the frog with... Who is that? That's Lori, one of the brave souls who dared to challenge my authority. My dear friend who once walked the path of adventure. Oh, fuck, we're gonna get turned into a frog. However, he didn't foresee the possibility of being turned into a frog on a whim. He even tried to wield a sword with his tiny frog legs. Fought to the end. A true warrior. Now, however, his foes are mosquitoes and bigger frogs. Tell me, dear, does he bother you? His little existential froggy crisis, I mean. Is it ruining the ambience? He looks at me with an interested expression. No, I don't mind him. You don't mind? Excellent. I think he really sets the tone for the whole clearing, aesthetically. A living monument to the consequences of poor life choices. Lori, did you hear that? The noble grants you a stay of execution. You may continue your pitiful, mosquito-infested existence. So, dinner. I'm sure you must be starving. Traveling between realities must be exhausting. This looks strange, but it smells delicious. Meat with honey? And next to the meat, a purple soup, possibly made from a less fortunate cashier. Okay, I'll check it out after stream. Whether the food is poisoned or not, if I refuse, His Highness might turn me into a frog too. So I pick up a fork from the table. And this is the most delicious thing I've ever tasted. It's 100 times better than these cheap instant noodles I usually buy in the supermarkets. Even the fact that I'm currently in some other universe surprisingly doesn't seem to harm my appetite. It seems you enjoy our cuisine. My chefs have always managed to cook well, on those occasions when I noticed it. I assure you, you won't regret this dinner. At least, not for the first half hour after the meal. Huh? Thank you for the food on my plate not staring back at me. Don't give me ideas. I might not be able to resist. I think the heart popping up means he likes that, whatever I chose. At least I'm going to assume. They put laxative? I feel like laxatives would be the least concerning thing he could have probably have in this food. To your fortune, however, I want your lovely eyes to look at me and only me, both the left and the right. I'm unfortunately not able to control my eyes separately. So if one is looking at you, the other will certainly be looking at you as well. I particularly like the right one. It has more spark. I poke at the food with my fork and watch the peculiar scenery from the corner of my eye. A silence hangs between us that might even be called cozy. Were I under heavy narcotics. Oh no. Also, if you guys hear me, like, muting my mic more often, it's getting towards my allergy season, and I was mowing yesterday, and I'm allergic to grass. So I've been a little sniffly sneezy today. What's your favorite animal? Glad you asked. It's right here on our plate. Just kidding. But I do need some time to think. Let's see. The riding flea has its own charms. Very disgusting ones. Carnivorous butterflies are beautiful, but they're dumb and noisy. And as we know, only what's empty inside makes a noise. Or what's in my head. It's always ringing. You heard it here. If your head's empty, you make noise. Which, you know, kind of, because they always say that people who don't think as much talk more. I think it's a dog. It loves its owner with all its heart, whether they're a saint or a serial killer, and doesn't notice the difference. It lives in a constant, joyful state of blissful ignorance and misplaced enthusiasm. A creature that finds endless joy in the utterly meaningless. It's truly inspiring. Dogs are the jesters of the animal world, and I adore them for it. Especially the small, wrinkly ones. Me too. What about you? Oh, I'm not. I like dogs too. Fine. Cats. To them, we're probably the jesters. Oh, indeed. They are the true rulers of this reality, tiny, furry gods of apathy and disdain, and we are their obedient, foolish caretakers. But I've been lucky enough to escape their tyranny and instead enjoy my own, and feed those around me. I return to my meal, and just as I chew another bite, I hear His Highness's voice. By the way, how does the meat taste? Oh, fuck me! Is the human flesh tender enough? My fork freezes halfway. I feel like these two are the best, because I feel like he'll take either one of these as an insult. This one's the polite version. This is the, like, I'm trying to assert my authority, but he says he's a king, and I don't want to assert my authority over the king's authority. So, yes, thank you, quite tender. And while most nobles would faint or have a fit, you mind your manners. Charming. But don't worry, my little polite marble statue. It's just venison. As far as I can tell by taste, not very intelligent. You should have figured he's a jester. Can't take him at his word. It's definitely not Timmy, our carpenter, who unexpectedly disappeared near the large kitchen cauldron, perfectly sized to fit in it. Definitely not. Okay, well, now I just don't know. I've personally issued several decrees related to cannibalism, perhaps even concerning its prohibition, but that's beside the point. I rarely have visitors, and I'd like to tell you about other interesting guests. After all, it's the most fascinating thing I can share with you. For a place where mushrooms with eyes grow, it can be incredibly dull here. Shadows in the clearing thicken and stir. They detach from the gnarled trees, rising up from the ground like black ink and spread across the wall. Dancing and intertwining, they prepare to perform at their master's whim. Behold, this incredibly crooked castle, my dear. Crooked to the point of absurdity, sadly. In reality, its curves look far more aesthetic, but give the creator some leeway for expressiveness. Many brave and not-so-bright souls have tried to conquer this terrifying, dark, eerie, crooked castle. So many that it became even more crooked. You see, the dreadful monster living there never liked being distracted from its important duties. Terribly important duties, like having long, deep conversations with its own reflection, or concocting recipes with raisins. I'm just gonna let him talk. I don't want to interrupt his story. The monster was a tyrant, a menace. He sowed chaos and disorder, mostly on purpose. He had countless opportunities for creativity and wasn't afraid to use them. He made some people believe they were pigeons and others that they were grains. He wouldn't allow his best servants to have windows, fearing that the moon and both suns would get envious and want to take them away. And he demanded they seal the gaps in the doors as well. He locked wizards who came to him for magical gifts in a giant laboratory and promised them power if they invented a kettle that could boil everything except water. But behold, a ray of light in the Dark Kingdom, the first hero, Sir Lorry the Righteous, in all his clanging, self-important glory. He took a knee to rest briefly because the weight of his righteousness was bad for the health of his poor back. Following rumors spread by the same monster, he fought his way through the monster's loyal subjects to... By the way, where did he even find them? Most of my subjects are too busy contemplating the color of suspenders for their suspenders or lamenting their fate. I cherish them in their imperfection. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They were probably the most restless of them. Every story needs minions. In any case, our hero descended into the Grotto of Despair. The Grotto of Tentacles? Imagine the most sinister name you can conjure. The Grotto of my parents' disappointment in me. Oh, but if they could see you now. You're at a royal audience. They would be proud of you. No, actually, they wouldn't be proud if they got to know me better, but in that case, it's good too. You won't be alone under the weight of their disappointment. But let's not get sidetracked. Into the grotto of your parents' disappointment in you, or the fact that he actually called it that. Our hero descended to retrieve an artifact capable of defeating the Monster King. The Ring of Incredible Power. A bit shoddily crafted, but I assure you it looks more aesthetic in real life. However, the brave knight didn't know that the incredible power of the ring lay in its 440-pound weight. That was its only magical property. That sucks! The only incredible thing about this ring was its incredible stupidity and uselessness. The realization that he had spent weeks of his life on a divinely heavy paperweight, and the sudden crushing thought that he should have become a baker instead of a hero just to get some sleep. Well, it broke his poor, noble mind. Not that his mind was ever intended for serious burdens. So, the knight perished. But then, along came Elmer Eagle-Eye. They say he earned his nickname by escaping from an enemy fortress. On the third day of his captivity, he noticed that his prison cell was lacking the fourth wall. How? How did it take him 3 days to realize that? An archer of legendary skill who tried to kill me with a precise shot. Constantly. during breakfast, while bathing, at balls, during sleep, and even while I was devising a plan to get rid of him. The audacity. I hate just killing them. Turning them into madmen is much more fun. And I bestowed a little curse upon the elf as well. I made it so that every time he drew his bowstring, he'd hear the most annoying melody to his ears. Elmer was a what the fuck? Elmer was a terrible racist. He hated dwarves, so naturally the melody became the national anthem of the dwarves, played in a loop by a bagpipe orchestra. The pure rage it provoked derailed his aim every time. Eventually he stormed the castle, dropped his bow, and begged for a job at my court in exchange for changing the song to anything else. He was desperate, and I was a villain. Everything aligned incredibly well. Now he's my royal huntsman. The dwarf march is replaced with a lively elven sea shanty, and let no one dare accuse me of being callous and heartless. Now he has a salary, good food, clothing, entertainment, and a full guarantee of non-dismemberment. You missed the opportunity to change his dwarf national anthem to dwarf serenades. Straccia, where were you before? Hoarse odes and comparisons to long stalactites. Endless rhymed verses about the shine of a beloved's beard. It's a refined, devilish thing. Why didn't I think of it myself? To torment a man not with the sounds of war and patriotism, but with the clumsy, heartfelt caterwauling of a species he despises, turning a love song into an instrument of pure, heart-wrenching agony. Brilliant. Well, I'll steal your idea for the future. And finally, the witch, in a classic giant hat under which you could easily fit another witch. She tried a different approach, seduction. She attempted to charm me, to gain my trust, to become my spouse. A fatal miscalculation. She didn't consider the fact that I never trusted big hats, or people, especially when both come hand in hand, and those who wear suspenders and a belt at the same time. A person who doesn't even trust their own pants certainly doesn't earn the trust of His Highness. Then again, I don't trust His Highness either. I don't trust myself, especially the left side of my brain, especially on Thursdays. But back to hats. He'd be mad if I said I adore big hats, but I love big hats. I like big hats. Oh dear, don't even think of wearing them around me. At best, I'll turn it into a smaller hat, and that's if I'm in a good mood. At worst, badgers. Lots of very angry badgers. Meanwhile, the witch was quite overt in her murderous intentions, jingling with all her concealed weapons. Why does a witch need so many hidden blades? She must have been very bad at witchery. In any case, she now resides in my dungeon. And you see, I haven't decided what to do with her yet. Her fate is a blank slate, a story yet to be written. So, I offer you the pen. I simply adore random choices. Give me yours, Straccia. What punishment befits her? What? Does he really want me to decide what to do with a real person? Can I even save her? And does it matter what I choose? Everything here follows his whims anyway. But as long as I play the circus monkey, I have a chance to get out of here alive. Maybe I should just entertain him? Damn, what should I do? I mean, this is true. Sparing her would be, completely outside what anybody would expect of him to do. But it would also kind of be funny for him to turn her into a hat. Turn her into a hat. The one who lived by a big hat shall become a small hat. The irony is so absurd it's beautiful. So be it. Let her be a small cap of eternal regret. She tried to get into my head, and now she can barely cover it. A brilliant sentence. Something's missing from this tale. You never told me about the monster itself. Dear, who cares about these monsters anyway? Ooh. I do. If monsters are the muck, then I'm the pig, you see? How eloquent. All right. I must admit, this will be my first performance like this. Darren sounds a bit bewildered, it seems. Allow me to just toss my mind up and see how it lands. You see, the monster was originally much more modest and less majestic. But we all have to start somewhere, right? Then my head suddenly became a bit crowded. First whispers, then arguments, then full-fledged discussions that had to be participated in, and involved inanimate objects. Guests in ajar doors, closets, even in cookie jars. Every container a potential foe, and I was surrounded by containers. To be fair, sometimes they told funny stories. Ah, but why was I afflicted with this curse? Pondering it drives me mad, even more so. Oh, not quite. Only Tuesday. Tomorrow's Earth Day, apparently, from what I've been told. Seems the question is meant for me. Oh, shit. Hold on. I was afflicted with this curse. Pondering it. Does your family have anything in common with the Habsburgs? Ha! My noble soul. That's so mundane. But that's exactly what happened. You've guessed it. It's all about rotten blood. Too pure, I beg your pardon. My great-grandfather issued a decree forbidding death from old age, and a distant aunt believed a colony of sentient mold was living in her walls, claiming her inheritance. But I always thought that I would be spared this fate. I had to be temporarily isolated to avoid embarrassing guests at royal balls, with the young prince pointing at noble lords and saying, "Ha ha, the gnomes finally got out from under my bed." What a misfortune for the entire family, except for those in line for the throne before me. My death would have solved many problems for my family, and indeed many of my own problems too. I made a decision. We made it, to be precise. There was already a whole council of us by then. However, Chaos had other plans. A god, a goddess, a cosmic clerical error, I don't know. Something ancient and terribly bored find itself a new source of entertainment. Yeah, it offered me a throne. My own corner of reality to rule, where the fragments of my mind would become the laws of the land. No more restrictions or pants for my subjects if I wished. My subjects, at first they disagreed, but then they came to terms, or their minds changed to fit the new realities. And here I am. A dramatic silence ensues. Perhaps I'm the first being to hear this story in centuries of his existence. I must choose my next words carefully. So you're still in a cage. Must be rather lonely here. No cages. More like a playground with surprisingly silent infants. But I don't blame them. I have the best shovel. It's no wonder I embarrass them so much. Or maybe it's because I love to create explosions. Tell me, have you ever been exploded? Or no, don't tell me. Let it be a surprise. Do you really sympathize with someone who dragged you into this dimension to tell silly stories and feed you purple goo? People never cease to amaze me. Oh boy! Following a strange impulse, I reach out to his hand resting on the table. His gaze slowly follows my movement, lowering to our hands. This time, no commentary. Instead, my thumb begins to trace patterns on the back of my hand. On the back of my hand was, I think on the back of his hand, with surprising tenderness. The shadows finally dissolved into nothingness. I just turned a living being into a hat, or rather became the catalyst for it. I wonder what kind of nightmares are warranted in such a case. I'm afraid royal duties await me. Our time is up. I shall send you back, Straccia. I rise from the chair, and suddenly feel him press against my back. One of his hands grips me just above the crook of my elbow, while the other gently rests under my chin, tilting my head back until my ear is just a couple of centimeters from his lips. But don't think for a second that this is goodbye. It was merely an overture. His voice, usually so mocking and calm, now sounds eerily sinister. A cold thumb lightly strokes the line of my jaw. I try to suppress a shiver. You were a very interesting, incredibly curious guest. Possibly the most curious one I've had in centuries. And I've found that I don't want our acquaintance to end here. It's terribly unfair that you've learned a couple of my secrets and revealed so few of yours, isn't it? I can't tell whether he's flirting or threatening. Both, perhaps? I'm aroused. I'm both scared and aroused. A bird trapped in a cage of bills, failures, and endless anxiety. How high could you fly once the cage is opened? Your shift will end, the sun will rise, and you'll want to head home. Perhaps on something more elegant than a bus. Maybe in a carriage of polished bones. We will meet again, Straccia. Very, very soon. And next time, I won't let you go so quickly. I squeeze my eyes shut. The light is blinding, even with my eyes closed. So unusual after all this darkness. The jar is full of money! It was all worth it! Yay! Our boss isn't gonna kill us! Greetings, organism! How is your work progressing? I see the first transaction was successful! Acceptable! This still doesn't save you from the threat of cleaning sanitary facilities, but it's a wonderful starting point for your entire tiny life. Even more than successful, the client tried to fill the entire station with money, probably due to extreme affection for you, organism. Unfortunately, the terms of the intergalactic treaty do not allow such actions. Tips exceeding the amount set by the council by approximately, holy shit, were disintegrated to my great regret. What? That's a lot. Wait, that's a lot. Wait. 1, 2, 3, so 100,000 1,949,393,000%. That's a lot of money. The jester really liked me. Darren really likes me. To my regret as well. So, a mad god from another world likes me? In some sense, that's possibly worse than not being liked at all. Well, work is going well, sir. Excellent! Maintain this level of productivity. You may be rewarded with an additional 5-minute feeding break if you can find food. Rejoice in my generosity. Continue working. I am experiencing a positive emotional reaction. I am proud of you, and I will be even prouder if you acquire even more currency. Bro, what do you mean? I just acquired you so much currency, and you disintegrated most of it. Goodbye, Mr. Manager. My mind departs from you and the organic form follows. I love that. I wish I could say that to the next person. My mind departs from you and the organic form follows. I love that. He slaps across the floor to his office. As soon as Bob's rhythmic, wet slaps fade away, a deep silence descends on the station. One moment, I'm in a surreal forest, dining on purple goo with a mad god. A god who liked me so much that he offered me a ride back to his world in a carriage made of bones. The next moment, I'm being praised by a multi-eyed, tentacled monster. Maybe these are just all my deathbed hallucinations. I'm going insane. Some part of me enjoys these mad adventures. I'm an adrenaline junkie. Disgusting. Now I have to deal with that too. Dude, that's what I'm saying. That would be like the best way to leave somebody. Like you're just like about to leave somebody and you're just like, whatever it was, my mind leaves you and my form follows. In the midst of my contemplation, terrifying sounds emanate from my boss's office. Unfair bills, unacceptably large numbers. Of course. What else could upset him so much if not that? My boss is Mr. Krabs in a different universe. Seriously. Steps. Another visitor. This one decided to come in through the front door for a change. Oh. He seems unwell. I hope he doesn't knock over my shelves of shampoo with jojoba oil and delicate lilies on his way. Immediately my brain went, oh. I wish I had quotes to add that, because that is a great, my mind departs from you and the organic form follows. He's not just unwell, he looks like hell. Literally. All the skin on the left side is torn off from his jaw to his temple. I swallow nervously. What kind of meat grinder has this guy been through? He looks, you know what I'm going to say? He looks like a motorcycle guy who was not wearing a helmet and skid along the ground. You ride for the slide, man. What kind of meat grinder has this guy been through? He looks like someone who could rip me apart if he doesn't like what he hears. I need to be careful if I don't want to become a next victim. You look like the Terminator at the end of the second movie, buddy. Terminator just wrecked my entire floor. Well, it's hard to imagine how the other fighter looks. You don't want to work here anymore. Well, it's hard to imagine how the other fighter looks. He lets out a gurgling, raspy laugh. You don't want to know what the other fighter looks like. Honestly, I really don't want to know. My inner archive labeled I don't want to know this is at risk of bursting from overflow tonight. Words clearly come to him with great difficulty, which is probably not surprising for a man without half a face. He clears his throat, but that doesn't help much. Oh, I love him. I love him. Sorry. I need blood. He tried to smile. It would be charming if he still had all the necessary muscles for that. Now it will haunt me in my nightmares, among other things. The client pauses again briefly to clear his throat. Let me see what we have. Yeah. Good choice, sunshine. Step to the storage. He called me Sunshine. Just in case. He suddenly leans forward, boring into me with his remaining eye. Go and find me some goddamn blood. Huh, what should I do? Go and find the damn blood? Go and find the damn blood, or go and find the damn blood? I think I'll go and find the damn blood. A strange pressure builds in my head, and the edges of my vision blur. An unyielding command blossoms in the center of my mind. I don't know why, but I feel an incredibly strong urge to find blood. Right now. My client is covered in blood, but still hungry. Maybe he fought with something inedible? Or is it his own? I found myself in the storeroom, a tangled labyrinth of shelves reaching up to the ceiling stuffed with boxes, crates, and mysterious cans. Jesus. In the corner, something rustled and snorted suspiciously. So where could the blood be? I need to think fast. He's not going to wait forever. Right now, I'm at the very beginning of the crazy place. I would say food for mouth section. Supplies for self-propelling gearbox, no. Foaming body washes for leather bags, no. Items that inspire pensiveness. I'm going to say food for mouth. These signs are driving me insane. I really hope my manager will eventually learn English properly. I'm surrounded by pure madness of anxious packaging, and even in front of the department entrances, there's some baby food for cyborgs piled up. I'm frantically trying to decipher the crooked inscriptions. In front of me are sections with food for mouth. Food afraid of... Dense energy blocks for chewing. No. Infused nutritional flows. I'm going to say that. Because I don't think blood is afraid of heat. Oh, wait. But wait. You do have to keep blood in the fridge. Right? Do you? Does blood have to be refrigerated? I would think blood has to be refrigerated. I'm trying to remember if I've ever had... I was about to say a really weird sentence of, I wonder if I've ever seen blood in our fridge. My mom was a vet, okay? And she brought home animals sometimes that needed 24-hour care that would need, like, blood and stuff. Don't think I'm some fucking weirdo that just had, like, people blood in their fridge, okay? I'm going to say food afraid of heat. I think blood has to be stored in a fridge. The coldest corner of the store. Large freezer chests and refrigerators with glass doors are covered in frost. Next to the frozen pizzas are Gremlin cryo capsules, and among the buckets of ice cream you can find flavors like Minty Tritium and Liquid Family. Ew. Oh my god. A huge freezer chamber. Product of animal fauna exploitation with fruit species. No. Matter of lesser life forms and spare parts of human organisms. This section reeks of formaldehyde and horror. Glass jars filled with murky liquids sit on the shelves where exhibits float. I try not to think about one of the containers holding a name tag that reads Kevin. Oh. Okay, take blood of human organism, Kevin. Taste of unfulfilled dreams and unwarranted expectations. That doesn't sound like it'd be tasty. Blood of human organism, homeless. High contact of cheap alcohol and tuberculosis. Or taste of efficient resource and artifact accumulation. Part of me wants to give him the homeless one because I feel like he'd like the cheap alcohol, but I don't think he wants the tuberculosis. So, quick save, Michael? The blood in this jar has a rich, almost glowing ruby hue. Looks healthy and full of energy. Michael, whoever you were on top. Champion's blood flowed through you. You were probably something like an energy drink for the undead. I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. And yet, here you are, in a jar. There's something to ponder. He abruptly lifts his head as I approach. You... already? His voice carries genuine surprise and clear relief. Well, good thing you weren't wandering around for half an hour. Bring it here. My client finishes the jar and then grimaces. Ugh, for crying out loud. What the hell is this crap? He reads the note on the jar. Michael. Well, you're a lucky guy, Michael. Too bad I can't kill him a second time. Tastes like a happy family, a successful career, a retirement account, and this jerk probably never even had cockroaches. At least he's now Liquid Michael in a jar. He chuckles quietly. Yeah, there's something to that. Cool that you found human blood. Good job, you're sharp. Glad to please you. Glad to please you, sir, and glad you no longer want to eat me. Huh. With that approach to business, you'll go far, sunshine. He calls me sunshine. I'm gonna wash my dirty face. Don't get bored. While he's not here, I have a perfect opportunity to wipe away the bloodstains. I'm just scrubbing a pool of blood on my first day at work. An interesting story for Reddit. A wonderful tale. I'm doing just fine. Nobody has eaten me. Wait, what? Wait, what? Aw, dang, I kind of liked him with half his face ripped off. All right, fine. I guess you're still attractive with your whole face. I don't know why, but his eyebrows remind me of Vegeta. He's looking so much fresher with the second half of his face, although his expression still resembles that of a constipated owl. I'll just stand here for a while, okay? Take a little break. Besides, there's nobody here with you right now. Just so you know, if you try to contact the werewolves, I'll take your head and crush it like a walnut. So he's got to be a vampire, we're thinking, right? He drank blood and he hates werewolves. I'm David, by the way. Yep. A vampire, as you may have already guessed. What an incredibly interesting way to start an acquaintance, especially that part about the walnut. I'm Crystal. No, I'm not. Fuck it. We already went to a distant land with the jester. Nice to meet you, Straccia. Okay, Straccia. I knew a Straccia once. No, the fuck you didn't. They used to trade kidneys in Venice Beach. They were a good one until they got packed up. He's trying to provoke me, deliberately sharing the dirty details of his life to see how uncomfortable I can get. Yeah, I suppose I'm also selling some kidneys now. Check the catalog. Yes, exactly 10 categories. A catalog? Do you seriously have a catalog? He leans forward, genuinely intrigued, peering into the catalog. Gremlin kidneys? Is that a delicacy? Why does it say both delicacy and fuel and animal venom? 'Cause it's a universal product. Want some? I do. Looks like I found my best customer for today. Fuck! Now I have a vampire here, and he's regenerating. Wonderful. The main thing is to not accidentally blurt out something wrong. I need to be friendly. Since when do vampires wear leather jackets? Don't you guys prefer capes and ruffles? I don't want to piss him off. Thanks for not eating me, David. David lets out a quiet chuckle. The guy clearly expects people to be afraid of him. He might have looked lost when he first arrived here, but now, seeing my fear, he obviously feels right at home. It's not over yet. Although, you're too bony. And I'm sure you love to eat all that cheap crap like instant noodles. People like that, their blood's just not tasty. Only if there's nothing more interesting in that blood. So you don't like glutamate and cholesterol? They're tastiest things in the world. So, sir, let's get one thing straight. I am not food, and I am not for sale. Nope, my boss said everything's for sale. I think that includes me. So you don't like glutamate and cholesterol? They're the tastiest things in the world. They crunch on my teeth. Even cheap liquor is better. At least it warms you up and disinfects. Warms the body and soul. Vampires can be alcoholics. Another astonishing discovery for my shelf of amazing revelations. None of which I wanted to make. David slightly grimaces as he moves his hand. Damn mutts. Probably not all the wounds have healed completely, and does being a vampire doctor fall under my duties? I think Bob said it was mandatory. I don't want to help you, but my employee contract requires me to treat the creatures that come here. How about I'll just help? Let me help. He looks at me skeptically. The offer to help is probably so foreign and unexpected to him that it leaves him momentarily dumbfounded. You... what? Do you want to play nurse? A flicker of confusion is replaced by something more intense. It's just a couple of scratches and a little piece of ass that'll grow back on its own. I get to touch his ass? I'm fine. Let's see. If you don't let yourself be treated, my boss will lock us both in a dimension of horror where we'll be cleaning toilets with a fork. See, you're afraid of doctors, huh? Such a tough guy, yet scared of getting treated. You mentioned werewolves. It's probably not just a scratch. Let me try to help, okay? I give him a chance to save face. Now we're treating him not because he's a wimp, but because he survived an epic battle. A direct blow to his ego. The guy immediately starts puffing up with pride, and his eyes light up. Hope I didn't catch rabies. Let me throw some water at you. We'll find out real fast. I decide to remain silent about how he's already pretty rabid. 4 against 1 in a narrow alley, you know? There's a myth about werewolves being damn noble, unlike us bloodsuckers. Well, that's a load of crap. One of them was hiding in a trash can, ready to jump out at me. My heart would have definitely stopped dead if it even still beat. Would have just ripped apart from a freaking heart attack. I'm afraid I'll never be able to take out the trash again without fearing for my life. Judging by that distant look, he's plagued by flashbacks of what he's been through. David awkwardly moves his injured arm. All right, hand over your first aid kit. I'm sure this won't be the last pack I'll have to take down. There are way too many stray dogs around these days. Damn you. Go ahead. Get out your Band-Aids with Dr. Chocula or whatever you're selling. Come on, it's too cliche to be such a hot vampire. God. David sheds his jacket, shirt, and t-shirt, then settles onto a squeaky stool next to the counter. Honestly, I think I was drooling more when he had half a face, honestly. He's about to face a serious trial, staying in a vulnerable position for a few minutes. For some reason, cruel fate hasn't made him claw-proof. He certainly looks like he was just thrown into a blender. Judging by those bullet scars, he has quite an interesting past. Or maybe he was attacked by werewolf cowboys with guns? Most likely the former. True. I mean, he's still attractive. I mean, look at him. By the way, I didn't know that corpses have doctors, too. Thought the only doctor available to me now is the coroner. I'm rummaging through the necromancy kit that was sitting under the counter. It's a heavy military-style metal box with a faded label reading, Kit for Alternatively Living Organisms. Inside, besides standard bandages, there are some strange items. Silver tweezers, vials of thick, glowing liquid, additional fingers, and of course, an instruction manual. A cheap, laminated brochure stained with something that looks like coffee. If it wasn't for the scars. Yeah, I mean, the scars do help. But I also like the pushed back hair. That just looks nice. In the instructions, the first point states, determine whether you are dealing with a zombie. Ask your alternatively living subject if they ever wanted to eat someone's brain. David is clearly not a zombie. Move on to the next point. He glances skeptically at the pictures flashing in the instructions as I flip it over. Zombies, necromancers, abominations made of bones, flesh, and cabbage swirl in front of his face like a mesmerizing kaleidoscope. And all of this lives in the city sewers? I don't know how you're going to use bathrooms now. It would be great if he didn't notice that. Why do I have to deal with all this? I steal a glance at my visitor. I wonder if werewolves just clawed him up or if he managed to kill someone too. My instincts, something out of the Stone Age, suggest that he could have. The guy has a killer's gaze. It's the eyes of a killer, Bella. You see someone like him in an alley, your hand automatically reaches for your wallet and phone. I lower my eyes. Next point. Let's establish the nature of the injuries. What kind of wounds could werewolves leave? It's simple. You've got lacerations, claws, teeth, and a bit of saliva, possibly very contagious. Seems the damage was psychological. Tell me about your tragic past, as it says in the hint. No. I'm pretty sure, I don't think he wants to delve into his tragic past with someone like me. So let's just go ahead and take care of his superficial wounds. David listens to this with the pride of a true soldier. Every word feels like a medal for valor. Something like that. He said it as if he didn't care, but I know better. You really need to stop with these fights. They won't lead to anything good. Yeah, stroke his ego. What man doesn't love his ego stroked? Wounds from a real rabid beast, buddy. I'm dying of laughter. No, you're already dead. He chuckles happily, trying to hide a glimmer of pride behind humor, but I won't be fooled. David is no longer just a wounded sucker. He's a true gladiator, having survived a battle with rabid beasts. Absolutely epic. Don't touch it. What, your ego? I read through what medication I need and grab for the regenerating extract for alternatively living life forms. Now all that's left is to apply the stuff. I dip my fingers in the jar and suddenly he grabs my hand. Do something wrong and I'll rip your tonsils out through your ass. Damn. All right. You know, you have this fantastic talent for coming up with threats. You should write scripts for action movies. No way I'm a pathetic, miserable, harmless cashier. Allow me to do my job, sir. I will be extremely careful. I kind of like this one. You know, you have this fantastic talent for coming up with threats. You should write scripts for action movies. Well, I suppose it's just a matter of experience. Probably. And you, well, watch what you're doing or there will be consequences. Seems he just heard the best compliment of his life. I apply this black goo to the wound. A puff of steam rises from the wound and the air starts to smell like something is frying. It's probably very painful, but David remains calm. Not a single complaint, which is surprising. I hope it's not from your squid manager. Well, we all hope for that, buddy. Pour a little more goo on him. Restore some justice. My hand jerks accidentally, and a generous dollop of black goo splats right in the center of the massive wound. Hissing grows louder, and the smoke thickens. David grits his teeth. The tough guy is helpless. He can't tell the act of revenge from a medical procedure. The ointment punishes him for all his sins. I finish up, surprisingly. The wounds really are healing. Scars won't beautify this man. Why are you doing all this? The question is asked in an astonishingly serious tone. He's driving me crazy, even more than that clown from earlier, it seems. I just want to help. Lie. You want tips and to go home, play The Sims, and watch stupid shows. Just want to help. Truth, you're an angel of mercy from the dirty gas station. These are my work obligations. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't bother with you. No, I mean, I wouldn't mind helping. If I'm stuck here anyway, I might as well help. Why? David is confused. In his system of beliefs, action always equals benefit, throwing a wrench into his flawless, long-running mechanism. Let's just say I have certain fetishes. I knew it from the very beginning, Sugar. You clearly have a few screws loose in your head if you get pleasure from this. I won't even bother asking what those fetishes are. Thank you for the follow, Emperor Infinity Zero. Welcome in. Interesting spot to come in when I'm talking to the vampire about fetishes. I just want to sleep in my coffin without any nightmares. Alright, moving on. Screw this. I honestly don't care what's going on in your head. This is the most unconvincing lie I've ever heard in my life. He clears his throat. Thank you. What? Am I hearing things? I thought he didn't know such words. I'm even afraid to breathe, so I don't scare off this rare, exotic display of politeness. He says that word as if he's pronouncing it for the first time in his life. Wouldn't be surprised if that's actually the case. Just a couple more seconds and he's back in front of the counter. So the client is fed, clean, and healed, and yet he's still here, not putting any money on the counter. And the tip jar is lacking. I look at him. He's supposed to be full of energy, but instead, he looks lost. David is deep in thought, in that dark, gloomy little place that occupied his mind. I kind of want to say this just because, are you planning to pitch a tent here? Just come on. Who words it that way? Especially after we were just talking about fetishes. You planning to pitch a tent here? David snorts, hearing the impatience in my voice. What, already tired of my company, Sugar? I leave when I want to leave. I don't want to yet. I'm curious about one thing. I haven't talked to a regular human in a long time. I wonder, by regular human, does he mean my extremely natural essence? I'm no vampire, werewolf, or thieving gnome. Sugar, huh? Yeah. Or does he mean my lack of a criminal record and absence of drug or alcohol dependency? Or maybe he's looking for the perspective of an ordinary worker? A working class person? A gray collar? Does your face always look that funny when you're thinking about something? I don't even get a chance to respond to his jab before he follows up. Let's conduct an experiment. Suppose you're now a free vampire, able to go wherever you want, do whatever you want. Where would you go? David looks at me expectantly. What weaknesses will I have? Well, no more tanning, no reflections in mirrors. If you were ugly before, it's actually a bonus, right? You can enter without an invitation. Garlic doesn't scare you either. Holy water is trickier, depends on the situation. A stake works, but piercing your chest would be quite the challenge. Piercing any part of you is quite the challenge, actually. Our skin is like steel, unless a particularly persistent werewolf comes along. Well, at least you can enter without an invitation. No need for unnecessary chit-chat with people. Um, who were you before the bite? He opens his mouth, ready to tell me off or mention something about butts again, but stops himself. Or vice versa. Probably his thank you sealed our fragile friendship. I'll tell you, but it's probably not relevant. Well, it's nothing. I was a nobody. I was just surviving as everything went to hell. Unlike all those bastards born with a silver spoon up their ass. Ever see those happy American families on TV commercials? They sit at the table with a bowl of salad, smiling like idiots, and they always have a dog. Well, that wasn't my case. My stepdad was a crazy guy who thought the best birthday gift was a smack on the head. Did teach me how to shoot properly, though. I left my family dump early. It's really dumb, but I thought I'd start a band and become a rock star. But as they say, wish in one hand, shit in the other. See which one fills up faster. I have never heard that before. Oh, it's traumatized. Yeah. At first, I worked wherever I could, and found some guys to do some shady stuff with. There aren't many ways to make a living in the Los Angeles area. Can't exactly work the cash register, right? David jabs again, but without malice. The antisocial environment made him resentful of middle and upper classes, but it hasn't affected me yet. I wonder why. Yeah, being a gangster would be cool. Doing gangster things, riding motorcycles. He lets out a quiet chuckle. Come on, life isn't as fun as it is in TV shows. Mostly we just sold diluted crap to junkies and solved problems. Sometimes, no person, no problem, you know? I preferred the part about motorcycles. That's it, that's the whole story. What about you? Oh, Lord. This is my chance to make up something cool, or just tell it like it is. Nah, fuck it. What do we have to lose? Plus, can't vampires tell, like, when somebody's lying? Isn't that... I feel like some vampires have that power. I have a single-parent family and an art degree, and no dog. He listens to how I ended up in this dump, about my job search and everything else. I didn't sell drugs in any alleys, but it seems we still find some common ground. Got it. You're not in your element. David truly understands. Neither he nor I wanted to end up where we are. Neither of us knows what to do next. And we both love cheap noodles. But he can't eat them anymore. I win. You must be tired of those draw me requests, huh? I would draw you. Oh, like a French girl? He tries to look nonchalant, but his eyes show he's interested. Go ahead, I love beautiful doodles. Don't actually make me draw! He says the word doodles with such a strange tenderness that it sounds more like a compliment than an insult. I pick up a pencil. Nah, just draw him as he is. He probably doesn't get to see himself very often because he can't see. Oh, wow, I'm an artist. Oh, yeah, I have an art degree. Duh! I'm so dumb. Wow, what a face. Almost forgot what I look like. Bags under my eyes like a junkie. Silence hangs in the air while David examines the drawing. Clearly doesn't know how to react to this unexpected little act of normalcy. Looks cool. The last words are spoken in a barely audible, almost reverent whisper, unlike anything I've heard from him before. 2 simple words, said with all sincerity this guy can muster. I can do something too. David takes the pencil from me and with deep concentration, almost sticking out his tongue, scribbles something. A few minutes later, a drawing appears before me. Hey, he's good at drawing too! I never would have thought this guy was capable of that. You draw better than me and I have an education! Come on, it's nothing. I'm not much of an artist. I was into it a bit when I was a kid. Comics, all that stuff. Nothing serious. I take the drawing for myself. I wish I could have. I didn't get the option. I would have. Alright, where were we? A lot of things depend on who exactly turned me into a vampire. Who vamped you? He doesn't answer right away, just furrows his brow. Several long minutes pass in silence. Some old stinking jerk. A lot is mixed into those 4 words. It's as if he both hates and mourns the old jerk. Probably that guy wasn't a contender for Father of the Year. I wait for him to continue, but he remains silent. He looks like an angry, cornered dog. It's unlikely he'll speak up on his own. That seems too prying. I'm not sure he'd like that. Yeah, let's not delve into that. What kind of superpowers? Whole lot. We're practically a superhero league. I'm sure it never crossed your mind that in reality, bloodsuckers can be way scarier than in sappy movies for girls. Looks like he's watched Twilight. Interesting. Some of us not only drink human blood, but also capture people to experiment on them. They turn human bodies into real nightmares of flesh and bones. Dr. Moreau couldn't even imagine. And there are vampire sorcerers who can rip your soul out of your body and make you work for them for eternity. Literally. Seems like I already have one of those sorcerers. His name is Bob. He's checking his bills. There he is. I wonder what inner strength it took David not to flinch. And there are those who can make your head explode. Literally, with just a glance. But not all of us are such wicked bastards. We don't even have to kill a person to eat. Just drink a little instead of gorging yourself like a pig at the trough. But some don't care. They just drain all the blood and splash it everywhere. The forensic team is baffled why the person turned into a sprinkler before dying. He seems to enjoy talking about how cool vampires are. And which of these do you have? I got a decent list of what I can do. I'm not complaining. Imagine it. You never get tired. You can party all night long. Fuck all night long. You're stronger than 10 thugs combined. Well, except for 10 werewolf thugs. That might take some effort. If you want to shrink down and fly someone, you can turn into a tiny bat. Your reflexes become 100 times sharper. You feel everything. You see everything. You can hear a rat piss a block away. I don't want to hear what rats are up to. Oh, Lord, Straccia, it's just an idiom. You can ignore it if you want. All vampires would go insane if that was true. Do I look like a madman? Do you want me to answer that? Politely, I decide to stay silent, and he continues. And finally, you can make people do anything you want. Absolutely anything. Yeah, otherwise, I could completely see them going absolutely fucking batshit crazy hearing all that. I'll just let him continue. It's one thing to scare someone shitless. They give in just to avoid being harmed. It's another when they act with full confidence that it's what they want. They don't even realize they're just vampire pawns now. Yeah, I think I get it. He pulled that trick on me, too. David smiles, but this time the smile is strained. These are the words of someone stuck in a web of artificial connections and ass-related threats. Fear and supernatural compulsion aren't the best foundations for a strong friendship. David, you're a creature stuck in a web of artificial connections and ass-related threats your whole life. I'm not saying that! Dude, would probably fucking end my life! I can enchant friends for myself? Wonderful! Or make someone give me their wallet. He lets out a quiet chuckle. Well, not exactly friends, more like underlings. You can hatch all sorts of cunning plans with human politicians, or, well, pay no rent. The last part sounds like music to my ears. Seems to enjoy talking about how cool vampires are. Can vampires open beer? That's a stupid question. I'm not answering that. That's asking that. That's dumb. Why did you watch Twilight? I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't watch emo crap. I hold a dramatic pause. David looks like a cornered animal. He stares at the floor, then the ceiling, anywhere but at me. Finally, he lets out a loud sigh filled with disappointment and embarrassment. Fine, damn it. All right, I've watched everything. All Twilight movies, watched The Lost Boys, Interview with a Vampire, Blade. Idiot who bit me didn't explain anything beyond the basics, like, don't go out in the sun, you little punk. I thought maybe these stupid movies had a clue, you know, hidden in all that silly romance and melodrama. Most of it turned out to be bullshit. I read legends, searching it for info online. As you can imagine, all supernatural beings try not to give themselves away, but sometimes you still stumble upon bits and pieces. Or crazies, one or the other. My favorite, by the way, was from Dusk Till Dawn. Too bad vampires don't explode in real life. That sounds stupid. Excellent. He leans a little closer when suddenly we hear a wolf howling. I don't even have time to blink before David vanishes. Now he's a little bat hiding behind the counter. Listen up. Don't say anything about me. Sit tight and behave or you'll feel incredibly shitty. Trust me, if you rat me out to that mud, I'll find a way to get out and twist your head off. The threat in his voice is completely lacking, mostly because his voice now comes from a very small, though angry bat. Werewolf. A werewolf is about to come here now. Holy shit! The creature steps inside. It's a big puppy! Good evening, Chief. A low rumbling bass, surprisingly calm and friendly. Can I pet you? I have to. I'm sorry, we're saving because I have to. Chief, I'm not sure I understood you correctly. You want to pet me? He awkwardly shifts from paw to paw. That's very unexpected and of course flattering, Chief. Don't get me wrong, but I'm kind of on duty. Tracking the supernatural. He looks around nervously. Alright, you can, but just a little. I still have important business. Oh, look at the big puppy! I reach out and pet him. The fur is warm, soft, and thick. I immediately feel a low vibration. The werewolf is quietly, silently purring. Oh! At first, it's a barely noticeable... Look, he's so pissed at me right now. Fuck you, dude, it's a big puppy! At first, it's barely noticeable movement, but then his short, fluffy tail starts to wag slowly but confidently from side to side. He's a good boy. A very, very big but good boy. He deserves praise. I'm the Princess Mononoke of this gas station. Although David doesn't seem thrilled, I pulled my hand back. Thank you, Chief. It's been a while since I've been... Anyway, thank you. So, getting back to the purpose of my visit. Apologies for the sudden intrusion. Edward, you can just call me Eddie. We're chasing down a certain pest. You haven't seen a vampire around here by any chance, have you? You know, young, a bit scruffy, wearing a leather jacket? You see, here's the story. One of our packs nearly took out a vampire sire and his offspring a few hours ago. It was a tough battle. We suffered losses. We tried to track them and found one of them. Well, more like a pile of ash where he once lay. It seems one bloodsucker offed the other when he was weakened. Their family values are quite lacking. It seems patricide has occurred. David didn't tell it. Oh, sorry. It seems patricide has occurred. David didn't tell me anything about it. Probably that's why he had all those questions about vampirism. He was trying to get advice on where to go next after killing his creator, but in a completely idiotic way. You see, Chief, vampires are parasites on the body of our society. They drink blood like mosquitoes, but unlike mosquitoes, they kill their victims by draining them dry. They languish in boredom with their immortality and thus destroy human destinies, play with them, torment them, and derive a semblance of pleasure from their suffering. They are devoid of true feelings. I look at David, devoid of any feelings. He's shaking all over. So I would be extremely grateful for any help. Fuck. I'm not this kind of an asshole. I need to know more of his story as to why he killed another vampire, but I'm not going to give him away, and I'm not going to demand a tip either. That bastard threatened me 5 minutes ago, but now he's small, trembling, and helpless. He's my bastard. I force a smile and say I haven't seen anything. A quiet, peaceful night. Eddie examines me closely. Probably catching a faint scent of blood, but my calm demeanor throws him off. Strange. Well, okay. If he shows up, just give a whistle. We won't far away from here. Good night, Chief. Werewolf goes off to his important wolf business. David crawls out of his hiding spot. You could have turned me in. He stares into my eyes as if trying to peer into my soul and understand what it's made of. And that would have been the sensible decision. I'm glad you're not one of those sensible ones, David says with genuine relief in his voice. He's grateful to me and now doesn't quite know what to do with that gratitude. He clears his throat awkwardly. So, what's the answer to my question? What would you do if you were a vampire? His gaze reminds me of a lost fighting dog. Without a master, he's restless and can't find his place. What an advisor he picked. May the Lord help him. Take everything life has to offer. Travel, entertainment, new experiences. The world is full of wonders, and when you're immortal, all doors are open. I just surfed the internet, decay, and rot. One could enslave humanity. I think probably the first one. You could do pretty much anything. You could travel without having to, like, you could travel, like, as a bat. He chuckles. Huh. Still, waters run deep and all that. Pity the road of adventure led you to a stinky gas station. Maybe you're right. The world isn't limited to this lousy town. He says this quietly, almost to himself, looking out the window at the dark, empty highway. As if he's just remembered there's something beyond his cage of alleyways and gangland showdowns. Here. For future adventures. David is about to turn around and leave when he suddenly stops. He pulls a crumpled piece of paper from his pocket, scribbles a number on it, and leaves it on the table next to my hand. But just as I reach for it, his hand covers mine, pressing it to the table. His skin feels cold, rough from barely visible scars and blisters. This grave-like chill sharply contrasts with the warmth of my own hand. I feel a slight tingling like static electricity. Call me if you need a ride from work. I got a couple ideas for what we could do before dawn. See ya. David says goodbye and leaves. The gas station sinks into absolute silence. Well, that was quite an encounter. I really could have turned him in, but I didn't want to. Hanging on the wall. Ah, look! Wait, does that mean I'll get more? Because there's others. There's other empty. For someone obsessed with ass-related threats, surprisingly, his hands are quite skilled. Now, I also have a date invitation from a guy who wanted to make me his dinner half an hour ago. I don't even know what's worse, this or the offer to go home in a bone carriage. Oh, something tells me that if I accept, I might not return home at all. I survived another visitor. Seems I'm starting to get used to this job. Wiping off the sticky residue, hoping it was just spilled soda from the counter, I suddenly hear the crunch of gravel outside. Hooves? He looks like he looks like Molly. Kind of. A little bit. This is definitely not another vampire. The stranger leans against the counter, trying to look casual, but the way his tail twitches betrays his nervous tension. Hi. He clears his throat. Hello, sunshine. My name is Victor. Aren't your parents pirates by any chance? Are they rich pirates who can pay ransom of me if you kidnap me? Please, sir, don't. Aren't your parents farmers by any chance? Night, son. I'm gonna throw my flirt right back at him. I took his awkward attempt at flirting and made it my own. Now I'm the captain of this ship, since I am a true descendant of pirates. Victor nervously taps his hoof on the floor. No? Then where did they get such a sweet peach? His face instantly lights up, so much so that even his ears are smoking, it seems. Thank you? He shuffles his foot. Actually, I wanted to give you a compliment. I meant to flirt. He's so cute! No, it's fine. Victor makes vague gestures with his hands, as if trying to describe a complex mechanism that just exploded. It was all supposed to go completely differently. You were supposed to blush and giggle, and you broke it all. So he believes this was really supposed to work on real-life people. His face is burning. Is he a succubus? Victor takes another deep, frantic breath. His stomach is growling so horribly. I hope the guy is okay. Is it really that bad? I mean, is my flirting technique really that terrible? I don't know why he's Southern, okay? It's probably because I don't know what other, like, voice to give him. He's Southern, okay? Awkwardness is a great style. I liked it. This might be the best compliment he's ever heard in his life. Probably the only one. You liked it? His voice makes a surprise, disbelief, and a shy glimmer of joy. I'm glad you like awkwardness because I have plenty of it. You probably noticed. Right off the bat. Is it really written on my face? Actually, I initially chose this tactic to charm you. Of course, everything went according to plan. He coughs shyly and mumbles something to himself. Then he shifts his gaze back to me. Actually, I'm here to acquire... He doesn't get to finish. We have a visitor. She stands next to the counter, clicking her mandibles impatiently. 2 packs of Brapsy, a pack of screaming cheese, and a bag of fairy fingers, darling. Oh, Lord, I'm writing that down in case I actually have to grab that. Okay. Brapsy, screaming cheese, and a bag of fairy fingers. By the way, your gas attendant is a real sweetheart. It's frightening to imagine what my invisible colleagues look like. He hasn't even bothered to say hello. And hurry up, I need to rush. I have a lot of work waiting for me today. I'm starting to pack the order. At the same time, this incubus awkwardly tries to hit on the lady, and I thought we had something special. Apparently, the failed Casanova decided to try his luck on a new victim. Wow, you seem, so busy and cool, ma'am. And you must have a very wonderful job. She starts clicking her mandibles energetically, producing a buzzing sound that vaguely resembles laughter. Wonderful. Oh, yes, wonderful. Wonderful for those who don't like to eat, sleep, or see their children grow. Really, the best job in all 9 worlds. Speaking of children. Victor barely recovers from her sarcasm when the lady immediately pulls a wallet out of her bag and unfolds it. Over and over again. It seemed endless. This is Gugu. He has his father's mandibles. Victor gazes into the abyss, and the abyss gazes back, revealing baby pictures. The seduction attempt has failed. Again. Like any mother, Lady Mantis loved her children and considered it her sacred duty to tell every passing incubus about them. This is Gugu. He's in his rebel phase right now. He pierced his mandibles. Can you imagine? He makes such a racket when he eats. The image of a larva in a biker jacket makes me snort and reminds me of David. And this is Gigi and Gaga. They're still larvae, but already so talented. What talents can larvae have? They just lie there and eat. I mean, I do too, though. Wait, don't think about that. You have a very beautiful children, ma'am. All 20 of them. Incredibly cute. That's just the first wallet. I kind of don't want to interfere. I think I'll help him. Oh, I got a bit carried away. I really am in a hurry. Here, your money, darling. Victor watches her disappear into the night, then turns to me with a grateful look. Thank you. I couldn't handle 20 more kids. To be honest, I already broke down at the 8th. And I thought looking after a cat was hard. The lady left very little in tips. Probably all her money went to her children. Victor suddenly remembers he came here to buy something. However, my visitors rarely recall that. I need a book. Victor scans my stinking supernatural realm of discount rot and chocolate bars. It's, the guide for, well, you know, succubi and incubi. I can't really remember what it's called, but I've definitely heard something about it. Okay, so segue real quick. I read a thing the other day that was talking about what if we have succubus and incubuses completely wrong. Because everybody thinks a succubus is a woman and an incubus is a man. What if a succubus is a bottom and an incubus is a top? So you can have a female incubus and you can have a male succubus. That it's not their gender, but actually their, you know, if they're a top or a bottom. But I don't know what it would mean if there were a switch, though. I have no idea. But it was an interesting thought. Could you take a look? It's definitely not for me. It's for my less experienced friend, because I'm, employee of the month in my lair. He didn't specify whether he was the worst or the best employee of the month. Well, life force harvesting for dummies or something like that. I hear him mumbling quietly to himself. Such a shame. I should have just stayed home and rewatched Evangelion for the 10th time. God damn, 10th time, Eva? That's a lot of watching. I'm heading to the storage room. Just a few hours before, I was rushing around here looking for blood for a very hungry monster. Now all these vials, eyes, and tentacles seem less ominous. A gigantic dead moth lies on top of one of the boxes. Or perhaps it's just very tired. I'm rummaging through the book section, deep in between baboon metaphysics and limits of patience for your dead servants. I find the desired volume. I come back from the storage room holding this forbidden mind-bending treatise title, Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Demons and Everything You Didn't Want to Know About Them. Wow, this is definitely better than those PDF guides from various sites for. Never mind who. Clearly not for the whole family. Let's study it? Yes, it would be very unusual if he just paid me, tipped me, and moved along. I expect too much from this life. But, in fact, this will be an entertaining educational lesson. It certainly won't be unnecessary. And the guy looks like those pictures are enough to make him faint. The sooner this is over, the sooner I can send him on his way. We find a cozy spot next to the counter, and I pull the grimoire closer. I open the book, and the pages, yellowed and brittle with age, release a cloud of dust and indecent, horrifying desires. Incubi, the nature of the tempting rogue, hooves of desire. Tempting rogues. Oh, that's me! Yes, definitely me. Hooves are just like mine. You have no idea how awful they clop, especially on tiles. When you sneak to the fridge at night, the whole house wakes up with you. Everyone thinks there's a big clumsy cow living in your apartment. Victor, you look more like a sleep paralysis demon. No, that's mean. Oh, you're right. All incubi really are purple. I thought my skin color was just some kind of coincidence. Like when you create a character in a video game and just spin the color wheel until you stumble upon something weird? He gives me a cautious look, as if not entirely sure about the coolness of his purple hue. By the way, I was created in Spore. I like this. I know what you mean. When I was created, someone also spun the wheel. By the way, I was created in Spore. He lets out a quiet, soft chuckle. Spore? Seriously? I know it's a self-depreciating joke, but by the way, it really has an awesome creature maker. I love the mating dances in that game. Maybe I should have taken a couple for my profession. And by the way, you can make beautiful creatures in Spore too, even with symmetrical limbs. Seems like that was a compliment to me. I am very symmetrical. Victor turns his attention back to the book and runs his clawed finger down the lines. Incubi, appreciators of the vibrant hues of the soul. They draw power not from blood or life force, but from that pure, potent energy of mortal emotions. And although a refined bouquet of positive emotions is the preferred ambrosia... ambrosia? What a fancy word. A practitioner can also sustain themselves with more coarse, fickle energies of negativity. Despair, horror, and humiliation provide a quick, albeit unpleasant, rush of power. No wonder that now, after an argument with someone in the comments, I feel like I've eaten a few raisins. What's wrong with raisins? I like raisins. Judging by the expression on his face, he clearly... Oh my god. Sorry, my eyes caught something down below. Judging by the expression on his face, he clearly isn't cut out for horrors and humiliations. His limit is probably arguing on 4chan. Also a kind of source of horrors and humiliations, but still, it's a bit different. An incubus can, albeit less effectively, form a symbiotic connection by feeding off a single consenting mortal vessel. Mortal vessel, in turn, can absorb some of the power from the incubus, among other things, their immortality. Wow, sounds like a decent deal. I certainly always have plenty of emotions, mostly hatred for the fact that to earn money you have to work, a whole mountain of raisins for Victor, or whatever he called it. What a relief, just one person? Thought of having to chase after a whole bunch of strangers makes me feel sick. Yeah, strangers are the scariest things right after rent. Yeah, totally understand you. It's probably even harder to deal with clients like me. Communication is already a horror show in itself, and then you add, literal horror with vampires and ghosts? Just a nightmare. He really looks at me with sympathy. He feels sorry for me. I don't even know how to react to that. Trying to understand what people want from you is quite the challenge. It's like trying to play a game with its rules changing every 5 seconds. And someone has turned off your screen, and you're paralyzed. Basically, yeah, I completely get you. He's so sweet! Victor flips through the grimoire, reading the chapter titles. Techniques of Rogue Seduction, Juicy Emotional Juices, Using Lascivious Energy for Thaumaturgical Purposes. I don't even want to know. I just want to not starve without energy and maybe pay my rent. I don't need to be the lusty cousin of Doctor Strange. Ha! His finger finally jabs at a random chapter title somewhere in the middle. Love letters. Seems completely and irrevocably outdated, especially that part about carrier pigeon colors. Love letters? Who writes love letters anymore? This should apply to text messages now, right? But this, is a good start. Let's work on this before moving on to more complex seduction methods. He pulls out a pen from somewhere, a cheap ballpoint with a little anime cat charm on the end. I hand him a grease-stained napkin, like everything in this rotten place. The book says to convey aching adoration and a hint of forbidden desire. Victor starts scribbling something on the napkin. What the fuck? Maybe something like this? No, Victor. Try again. Yeah, I guess this really isn't the most aching thing in the world. He takes a less greasy napkin from me and starts drawing again. What about this? Will you marry me? And a funny kitty. Wonderful. That lonely, pain-filled tear is like a cherry on top. Yes, that's definitely better. Do I want to check the yes box? Because that would be super cute. I want to check the yes box. Victor's mind is now a blue screen of death. This probably means the picture turned out well, right? With a trembling hand, he takes the drawing for himself. If my client gets a heart attack, Bob will probably kill me. Victor continues to flip through the book. Recognizing the desires of the vessel. He scans the first few lines of text. It's all about observing subtle hints, interpreting body language, and exchanging in candid conversations to uncover the special nature of mortal carnal desires. He glances at me. What does Vessel Straccia want? The vessel wants money. The vessel wants stable mental health. The vessel wants fame, love, and adoration. The vessel wants to become the new Sandro Botticelli. The vessel wants a simple human sofa and cuddles on it. The vessel wants to leave your work as soon as possible. Let's not linger, young man. The vessel wants a simple human sofa and cuddles on it. Oh, great. And pizza, right? In his eyes is genuine sympathy and an understanding of every delicate string of my unfortunate lonely soul. That's honestly quite a simple desire. I think if the criteria for the second person on the couch aren't too strict, I could easily help. Though sometimes I comment too loudly on what's happening on screen, I hope that's not too much of a problem. Sometimes you just can't help but make a stupid comment. 10, 20 in 5 minutes? Especially when you know some facts about the movie. Me during Lord of the Rings. Don't ever, if you have never seen the Lord of the Rings ever, don't watch it with me, because I will sit there, I will quote every line of the movie, and I will tell you every stupid little fun fact I know. And it's a lot. Because I have bought the Lord of the Rings trilogy on DVD 3 separate times. Each time they came out with, like, you know, the collector's edition, the one with the audio commentary by the cast, the one with all the, like, 6 hours of behind the scenes footage, and damn did I not watch all of it. All of it. We continue to study this villainous seduction manual. The art of verbal seduction and slippery flattery. To his surprise, Victor finds no mention of the fact that pirate compliments work on living people. We examine the first paragraph where words are labeled as keys to the treasure chest of the heart, and flattery is described as a powerful aphrodisiac for the ego. It's all very dramatic, but the main idea is quite simple. Say nice things, don't say unpleasant things. This is definitely outdated. If I tell someone that his eyes are double gateways to the Champs Elysees, I have no fucking clue what that is. I'll definitely get sprayed with pepper. And this, good lord, when I kiss you, I tremble like a paralyzed beggar? How is that even supposed to work? No, that's too much even for me. Victor clears his throat. His gaze slides over me, trying to latch onto something particularly attractive about my appearance. You have very elegant ear shape. No, you. Thank you, Victor. No problem. I mean, they really are. They have a very elegant curve. Aesthetically pleasing. 11 out of 10 on the ear attractiveness scale. Ears on my head are an 11 out of 10. Will there ever be a happier day in my life? He takes a deep breath, gathering his courage for another compliment. I should have already left by now, but I am enjoying this so much! For a while, he tries to find some foothold to latch onto, but he can't seem to find the words. You are a very multifaceted person. You combine so much. I don't know how exactly to describe it. He lets out a quiet chuckle. But I like that you're so unpredictable. A lot of stress, of course, but it's incredibly fun. Now my unpredictability is a source of stress for someone else. How wonderful. It wasn't bad. He smiles gently in response. Despite everything, he starts to relax. He's probably beginning to feel more comfortable around me. I would have never thought a monster would have to struggle with discomfort from interacting with a mortal soul and not the other way around. Another chapter. How to be a mirror. I didn't know we could change. Oh, it's metaphorical. The text describes the principle of mirroring, subtly borrowing mannerisms, speech patterns, and even expressed opinions of the victim to create a sense of closeness and understanding. The path of least resistance to gaining mortal attachment. Oh no. What about all that stuff about just be yourself and everything will work out? My mom lied to me, didn't she? With similar interests, what do ordinary people like? Football and the weather? Definitely not anime and Dark Souls. Discussing the brilliant soundtrack of Silent Hill with people is a bad idea, that's for sure. Victor! What? Alright, practice. The book says that practice is the key to success. Victor lifts his gaze to me. Play along with me, please, like we just met. Beautiful mortal soul, I've appeared to you in half-dreams so many times, but I finally decided to find you in reality. I won't let you go so easily again. Even though the words aren't the most elegant, there's something supernatural about them. I still begin to feel a pull. A shiver runs down my spine. Yeah! Come on, you don't have to pretend to get close to someone or make friends. I'd love to talk about Silent Hill soundtrack. Victor's carefully crafted, seductive expressions shatters into pieces. His eyes widen, he blinks several times, and his gaze ignites with pure delight. You really want to talk about Akira Yamaoka's industrial soundscapes? And how they create an all-encompassing sense of psychological horror that reflects the protagonist's inner turmoil? Because, I mean, the use of trip-hop elements in the Silent Hill 3 soundtrack is criminally underrated. Criminally. Oh, him. Yes, mortal. Your interest in such esoteric melodies is quite intriguing. He chuckles softly. But you're right. Pretending is very exhausting. You can never truly be close to someone if you're always pretending. Though, I don't really need to do that, do I? I just need juicy, sweet emotions. Well, who am I kidding? I'm the most pathetic incubus in the world. I need more than just that. He's flipping through the treaties a bit longer before letting out a sigh. His stomach growls again. It seems he could use an emotional snack. I think we've covered all the important stuff. I suppose it's time to wrap things up. He starts to rise from the floor. Wait, how did it happen that no one explained anything to you? Even I had a briefing, a 2-minute one. I'll tell you, but promise you won't laugh? I promise. Relief washes over his face. Yeah, wonderful. I accidentally sold my soul on the dark net. He holds a dramatic pause. Go on. Fuck, what an idea I was. I dropped out of college back then because of constant stress, moved into a tiny dump, and barely left my apartment. I was scraping by with some freelance work. I talked. Well, sometimes I chatted with various anonymous folks from 4chan. That's a mistake. people without names, gender, or age. And then I stumbled upon a stupid ad. What did I have to lose? Definitely not a demon 7566 in the chat offered me a chance to escape loneliness. Later, after I turned into this creature, he told me he did it for laughs. He left no instructions, just wrote "get good" in the chat and deleted all contacts. He was curious to see if I could handle it. His chance to escape loneliness turned out to be putting me in an incredibly deadly situation. He lifts his eyes to me. This memory is a fresh wound for him. Before I can even respond, he jumps up from the floor. But I've already wasted enough of your time. He clops his way to the counter. Well, to be honest, I didn't really understand much. Those chapters are so strange. He lets out a quiet chuckle. But you know what? It was great. I haven't had this much fun in a while. I think I even ate properly, finally. Positive energy, I mean. Thanks for the lunch. Not sure if I need to pay for that too, but I'll leave some money just in case. His tail twitches awkwardly. I haven't really interacted with people since college killed my will to live. It felt strange not to feel like such an idiot around someone. Thank you very much. Tosses some money into the jar, then takes a deep breath and adds, maybe someday we could, well, hang out together? Not as a lesson, just play some silly games, like friends. Why not as friends? We could make it a date. A date? His tail starts wagging wildly, knocking over 3 bags of chips, a can of soda, and a bottle of Gloomy D. I'm in, of course. I'm ready. He struggles to rein in the flow of enthusiasm and takes a frantic breath. See you then. Bye. Bye, Strata. Good luck with your shift. It was nice to meet you. The gas station returned to silence, broken only by the hum of refrigerators and my own 2 loud thoughts. So, a crazy god, a vampire thug, and a shy incubus walk into a gas station. Sounds like a start of a really bad joke. My life is now a joke. Just great. I just wanted to pay my bills. I didn't sign up for interdimensional quarrels and therapy sessions for the undead. But, on the other hand, I wasn't eaten, and I wasn't turned into a piece of furniture. By the standards of this night, that's a resounding success. I cautiously glanced at the door to Bob's office. There was a low, guttural humming, like a giant, disgruntled computer tower was working inside. The clock on the wall indicated it was the end of my shift. Oh, so we are going to do multiple days. With a heavy sigh of relief, I began closing up the place. Oh, wait. Darren and the jester both offered to take me home in different ways. Do I have to choose who I'm going home with? Finally, I walked to the front door, inserted the key into the lock, and was about to turn it when suddenly... Organism! I jumped in place, nearly dropping everything. Organism, your performance has exceeded all my algorithmic predictions by 47.3%. You are not just an organism. You are an efficient, flawless machine for generating currency. Why? I am feeling an emotion your kind describes as managerial pride. If you keep up the good work, the possibility of receiving a 25-cent bonus will become not just hypothetical, but quite real. Can we also get a pizza party? Go, organism! Restore your energy resources and return for further exploitation. What a relief. He vanished as suddenly as he had appeared, leaving nothing but ringing silence behind. Okay. I stood for a few seconds, processing what I'd heard. Then I slowly turned the key in the lock. Click. First shift completed. I survived. And now I can do anything, which means... Carriage for the monarch! Called David. Wait, okay. Hold on. Who... David is the vampire. Victor was the incubus. Hold on. We're gonna save and see what... Okay, well, we're gonna go with my first choice, which was Victor the incubus, because he was adorable. Victor promises to come faster than the wind. True to his word, when his car pulls into the parking lot, he nearly knocks over a trash bin. My bad. Oh, that's right. Victor was I made him Southern for some reason, and I don't know why. It's an old, well-maintained car, clearly inherited from his grandfather. Inside, it's warm and smells nice. His apartment is exactly as I imagined. A bit cluttered, but cozy. Aw, we're playing video games. And soon, I get humiliated by the very first boss. Victor, sitting next to me, laughs. Oh God, I forgot what I did for Victor. It's not that you're bad at this, as you say. It's just that I'm a nerd with a whole lot of free time. His fingers glide effortlessly over the buttons. I felt at ease for the first time in a long while. No fear, no tension, just two people playing video games. Heck yeah, I'm gonna rest my head on his shoulder. Aww, it's so freaking cute! He freezes for a second, then a blush appears on his violet cheeks. He coughs awkwardly, but doesn't pull away. Instead, he gently leans his head towards mine. Strachey, you made me so happy in just one evening, and I'll do everything I can to make you happy. I close my eyes, listening to the quiet clicking of buttons. An incubus partner. My partner is an incubus, and he's better at Souls-like games than I am. For now. That's easy. I suck. Actually, I've never played, but I can only imagine I would suck. Something very interesting is definitely happening with my life.